Nominating Donald Trump for the Republican Party is a lot like peeing in your pants, right? It's going to feel good for a couple of seconds.
On the verge of yet another indictment, former President Donald Trump has broken the law again, this time publicly. It is very clear. So I'm going to get to what that is. I'm going to get to some clips as well that have to do with him breaking the law and who it's targeted at. Let's all start with the basis for all of this, which is what went on in Georgia. So this is the potential indictment that is likely coming down. Actually, as of recording this, right before I hit record, there was a news story on this that I'll get to in just a second here. But this is over, of course, the investigation into election interference that Trump engaged in. Prosecutors in Georgia opened their investigation in February 2021, just weeks after Trump made a phone call to Brad Raffensperger, Georgia's Secretary of State, and urged him to find enough votes to overturn the results of the election there. And I'm going to get to a clip from that call in case you forget it, because I went back when I covered that call, I listened to the whole clip, and man, I forgot just how terrible that whole call was. Though Trump calls it a perfect call. We'll judge that in a second. But this just came out as I hit record. This from the Midas Touch Network. Georgia set to indict Trump on multiple felony charges report. So after initial confusion, Reuters reports that Trump will be charged with a variety of charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and false statements. So this initially went online, and then I guess it was deleted for some reason because they weren't ready yet. So this is still a developing story, but it goes into what we're going to talk about with Trump breaking the law here on Truth Social. So this is the call that is the basis for all of this. Check this out. I cut it down here because the call is much longer than just, a minute or two that I'm going to show you. But this is just, in case you forget, this is amazing.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers.
I forgot how terrible that call was. The perfect phone call. Donald Trump clearly trying to pressure state officials to overturn the results of the election in Georgia so that he could win that state and not Biden. This goes into what his latest lawbreaking is about. So Caitlin Collins here of CNN tweeting this out. Former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan has been asked to appear before a Fulton County grand jury Tuesday. He confirms to CNN one of the strongest indications yet that the district attorney will begin presenting the Trump case before a grand jury early next week. So this feeds into the indictment that is coming down. And Jeff Duncan confirming this on Twitter. I can confirm that I've been requested to testify before the Fulton County grand jury on Tuesday. I look forward to answering their questions around the 2020 election. Republicans should never let honesty be mistaken for weakness. This is where we get to Trump breaking the law. It's very clear. He is trying to tamper a witness here. Trump on Truth Social shortly after this news saying, I am reading reports that failed former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan, will be testifying before the Fulton County grand jury. He shouldn't. I barely know him, but he was right. But he was right from the beginning. But he was right. But he was right from the beginning of this witch hunt. A nasty disaster for those looking into the election fraud that took place in Georgia. He refused having a special session to find out what went on, became very unpopular with Republicans. I refused to endorse him, and fought the truth all the way. A loser. He went to CNN. I think that's what he's saying here. He clearly is pressuring a witness here to not testify. So this isn't, me saying it. I'm not a lawyer. These are legal experts saying this who were shocked by the brazen post from Daily Beast here. Quote, this morning's first attempt at witness intimidation, attorney George Conway, a frequent Trump critic whose ex-wife Kellyanne worked in the Trump administration, posted to Twitter. Former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuaid posted a similar sentiment, writing that Trump's morning rant was witness tampering in real time. And Anthony Michael Kreis, a lawyer professor, I can't read today. A law professor at Georgia State University called the post blatantly unlawful stuff that could warrant a charge of influencing witnesses. This is exceptionally bad, even for Trump, he said. So, for anyone wondering, is there a two-tiered justice system? Like all these Trump supporters, oh, there's a two-tiered justice system. Trump is getting charged with things that no one else would. Anybody else who's broken the law this many times and has done so publicly would have been in prison a long time ago. Trump is still a free man. So yes, there is a two-tiered justice system in favor of wealthy individuals, powerful individuals, former presidents, especially Donald Trump. Now, let's get to, quickly here, again, I'm not going to read through this, but there is a long history that Trump has with witness tampering. So you could check out this article below. They mentioned a few names here: Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Don McGahn. It goes on and on. James Comey. It goes on and on and on. So I'll link to that below under sources if you want to read through other examples. But I want to show you why Trump hates this guy so much, Jeff Duncan. So it's not just because he didn't go along with Trump's lie about Georgia. Of course, that is a big part of it. But it's also because of how publicly this guy has spoken about Donald Trump. So let me show you a couple examples. This first one is shortly after that phone call came out that I showed you earlier with Donald Trump. Here is what Jeff Duncan had to say then.
Look, any Republican, including the president, that wants to fan the flames and spread this misinformation about election fraud, quite honestly, it's just an excuse for the loss, and it's not a solution. It's not going to help. It hasn't helped us gained momentum to get us here today. It certainly hasn't. It's been a distraction.
So Jeff Duncan has been publicly very open about how Trump is just lying. He's not being truthful about the results of the election, how he is just trying to hide the fact that he lost and he can't take it. And that's shortly after the election. His insults have increased in some way. So this is a clip from CNN. I find this pretty amusing. This is a clip from CNN from the end of last month, July 29th, 2023 here. So check out how Jeff Duncan's talking about Trump now.
Look, they should all be unanimous in rebuking anything Donald Trump has to do and say. He's hijacked our Republican Party. And, this is maybe funny to say, but I was making this analogy last night. Nominating Donald Trump for the Republican Party is a lot like peeing in your pants, right? It's going to feel good for a couple of seconds. But then you wake up and you realize the realities of what you just did. We're going to get beat in the general because we picked the wrong candidate. We couldn't get out of our own way.
That's quite a catchy analogy, Jeff.
Nominating Trump is like peeing your pants. I haven't peed my pants in a while. I gotta say, I don't remember it ever feeling good. But I like the analogy there because comparing Trump to, some soiled pants seems pretty accurate to me. I'm also impressed by the other host there, both of them really, but the one host, I forget his name, but just completely straight-faced. There's no reaction at all. How do you not laugh at that line? But last thing to end on here, since this may be something to look forward to out of the incoming indictment in Georgia, Axios sharing this. Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labatt says, if indicted, Trump's mugshot will be taken. If that were to happen, it would be the first for the already thrice indicted former president. Quote, unless somebody tells me differently, we are following our normal practices, so it doesn't matter your status. We'll have a mugshot ready for you. So, in addition to, a new indictment, we get to see Trump's mugshot, most likely. How about that? But here you go. Let's see what comes out of this witness tampering, this blatant, unlawful behavior. I'm sure very little will, at least in the short term, but maybe it's just another charge to add on to the countless others.